Alright, so I just wanted to do some talking about the new Last of Us remake. Um, I don't really see the need for it, frankly. And we're gonna watch this video. This video is just gonna be playing in the background. Um, but I am talking over it, so this is technically transformative content. Please, PlayStation, do not sue me. Um, anyways, how I feel about that. As someone who has never played The Last of Us, but understand the impact it has had on gaming since it launched almost 10 years ago. Um, I mean, yeah, I've heard it's a great game. My cousins loved it when they played it. When I eventually get a PS5, I'll probably pick it up myself just because it looks fun. I like zombie games. Um, but did we really need this remake? Is my is my question. And a lot of things they talked about in this video, oh, it's all about the graphics and how we updated the graphics. Okay, well, that's great and all, but I mean as you can see here, look, they added more vegetation. I mean, okay, guess that's going over the top and rebuilt some cinematics, but I mean, was there really any need for this? The the remastered version looks fine on its own. Yeah, it doesn't look as good as this, but that's because the remastered version is a 9-year-old game. But I mean, you can't you can't tell me that we needed this. And a lot of the fan sentiment is echoing that because I mean, yeah, they've done some motion capture work, but there's no I might sound like I'm talking in circles, but I'm just so confused by this whole why this game is a thing. Um, is it good for people who have a PS5 but never played The Last of Us? I mean, I guess so. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that The Last of Us Remastered is on PS Plus. So, really, if you're a penny pincher, you'll just sign up for PS Plus and play the remastered version. And now there's a lot of people out there who are saying, "Oh, I'm buying this game day one." I'm gonna say right now, I don't like telling people how to spend their money, but I don't think that's necessarily the best idea because there's a lot more games that are more original that you could be spending your money on. We have seen this franchise take the lead for PlayStation for the last 10 years. First, they had The Last of Us, which came out in 2013, The Last of Us Remastered in 2014, that came with all the DLC, and the multiplayer, which we'll get into in a second. And then we have The Last of Us Part 2, which came out in 2020. I mean, this is like the only thing Naughty Dog has been focusing on. Yeah, they released Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, but did those had the same impact that The Last of Us has had and the same type of, should I say, cultural relevance? No, Uncharted's kind of run its course. The Last of Us, they're still trying to squeeze everything out of this franchise, and while I guess that could work if you wanted it to, I don't see a need to remake the original game when you could just as easily put these resources into the new game. Wouldn't it be better to see something all new and original that focused on these characters maybe after part 2? How about you do Last of Us Part 3 for PS5? A big PS5 exclusive to headline the power of the PS5. That honestly sounds more enticing to me as a potential customer than you just sending out the original game again. But it's got prettier graphics. At the end of the day, I don't care about the I still think the 2014 game looks really good. That shows you how much I don't care about graphics. As Dusk Falls is my favorite game of the year so far, and that game barely has graphics. I mean, and we'll get into that in my review, which is coming up next week, but that's neither here nor there. Uh, I don't really, again, see the point for this. Aside from some new animations, changing up a couple things, they're like, yeah, we changed up the animations. Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't see this now as being a free upgrade, something that could have been a free upgrade, but because at first it just looked like they were redoing the graphics, and everyone was like, "Are you kidding me? You're selling this for $70?" And now I'm still of the mindset, are you kidding me? You're selling this for $70? Like, what? It doesn't seem worth $70. I think the remastered version, when it came out, since it bundled the original game and the DLC together, but remastered for PS4, you couldn't, you could, you didn't pay $70 for it. I'm just saying, you didn't pay $70 for it, and I don't think there's any reason to pay $70 for this. And getting back to what I said about multiplayer earlier, um, there is no multiplayer in this one. And that's because they're going all in on factions, which is coming out apparently next year, I think. Or they said they'd have more to reveal next year. And then there's a lot of people saying that this is meant to be a tie-in to the movie, or HBO series, not movie. I'm like, well, you could have just prettied up the graphics and sent it back out as a free upgrade for the remastered version. I mean, heck, Halo the Master Chief Collection came out the same year as The Last of Us Remastered, and you didn't see... Xbox just put out some new graphics options and some stuff, and then they sent it back out into the wild as a free upgrade. I honestly think if you want to upgrade old games, that is the way to go. I don't see the point in remaking this game that came out 10 years ago. Now, something like Final Fantasy VII, which has got its remake and it's got the second part coming out next year, I can see you remaking that. Because, come on, a turn-based game? The only turn-based games I like are the Mario and Rabbids games. And honest, I can't get into turn-based games. But putting Final Fantasy VII, which is arguably one of the better stories of gaming, into a more action-oriented format, that is enticing me as a consumer. So unless you're putting in something like, I'm an aspiring game developer. I found it interesting when I first watched this to see like the little behind the scenes stuff, see them programming in engine and doing that, but I couldn't help but thinking, I feel like these devs would want to work on something new. Because let's face it, this game has been beaten to death. Everything. PlayStation's like calling card now is this franchise. It is just, and Last of Us Part 2 is still technically an incomplete game because it was supposed to ship with the factions mode, but now they're going to release it as a spin-off. And you best believe if they pay $70, if it's going to cost you $70 like this one is, it's going to cause an uproar. Now, here are my final thoughts. I feel like this game is a test as a social experiment, and I say that in air quotes, from Sony. What they're trying to ascertain is if people will buy remakes of their old games for $70. And I can already hear people saying, well, Demon's Souls got a remake and it was a PS3 game. Yeah, but Demon's Souls wasn't A, natively backward compatible, and B, that game came out in 2009, so that's older than this. And the original Demon's Souls really hasn't aged that well. The Last of Us you can still play perfectly in 2022 without this remake. And then there's the other side of the fence that's saying, well, I mean, it's their way of bringing it to PC. I mean, okay, I mean, they're for that I just bring up the new Uncharted collection that still hasn't come to PC. Even though it was supposed to back earlier this year. I mean, they did nothing for that except upgrade the graphics and then resell it. There was no free upgrade. I mean, they did a paid upgrade path, but they did the bare minimum for the Legacy of Thieves collection. And that was only if you own both games, I think, that you got the upgrade. It was very convoluted. It was like when they released the Ghost of Tsushima edition of the upgrade, and it was just not that good in terms of straightforwardness. But I'm getting ahead of myself. In conclusion, this is a social experiment from Sony to see if people will buy these. Because if they do, I guarantee you will see more director's cuts, more games like this that are, yeah, they've made some improvements, but they aren't really needed, but they're still going to send them out into the wild for $70. Keep in mind, you're paying as much for this as you are for Gotham Knights, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, God of War Ragnarok. If that doesn't send up red flags, I don't know what does. You've got the sequel to one of the greatest games on the PS4, and they're selling it for the same price as this? Something ain't worth it. And I can outwardly tell you it's this game. It's not worth the price. So anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. For those who are interested in buying The Last of Us Part 1, I'd say it's the best deal for people who haven't played the game before. But other than that, I don't see it as a worthwhile purchase. But for those who do purchase it, I hope you enjoy your time with it. It does look very technically impressive, and I'm glad they showed us this 10-minute gameplay demo. So, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment, and have a good day.